Welcome to Lesson 3, Ethical Decision Making. In this lesson, we will be discussing the importance of ethical decision making and how to make ethical decisions in different situations. The lesson objective is to guide students in making ethical decisions, understanding the importance of ethics in entrepreneurship, and exploring the different ethical principles and frameworks that can guide our decision-making process. Ethics is a set of moral principles that govern an individual's or group's behavior and decisions. In any given situation, there are often multiple choices available to us, and ethical decision-making helps us choose the most moral and responsible option. Making ethical decisions not only ensures that we are doing the right thing, but it also helps maintain trust and integrity in our personal and professional relationships. 1. The importance of ethical decision-making. Making ethical decisions is important because it allows us to act in ways that are consistent with our personal values and beliefs. It also reflects on our character and can earn us the respect and trust of others. Ethical decision-making is especially crucial in professional settings because our actions can impact our organization, colleagues, and clients. Failure to make ethical decisions can lead to serious consequences, both personally and professionally. For example, if a doctor performs unnecessary medical procedures for financial gain, it not only violates ethical principles but also puts patients' health and safety at risk. In contrast, making ethical decisions can lead to positive outcomes and promote an environment of trust and respect. 2. Steps in ethical decision-making. The following are some general steps that can help in making ethical decisions. Step 1. Identify the ethical issue. The first step is to identify the problem or dilemma that requires an ethical decision to be made. This may involve considering the values and principles that are at stake and the potential consequences of each option. Step 2. Gather information. Get all the facts and information related to the situation. This may involve talking to others, researching, or seeking guidance from a supervisor or mentor. It is essential to have a thorough understanding of the issue before deciding on a course of action. Step 3. Identify stakeholders. Take into account all the people, groups, or organizations that the decision might affect. This includes not just the immediate parties involved but also any potential long-term consequences for others. Step 4. Consider ethical principles and frameworks. There are multiple ethical principles and frameworks that can guide decision-making. We will discuss some of them in the next section. Step 5. Evaluate alternatives. Brainstorm and evaluate different options for addressing the issue. Consider the potential outcomes and consequences of each option and how it aligns with ethical principles and values. Step 6. Make a decision and take action. Choose the best option and take action. Be sure to communicate your decision and rationale to those involved and any stakeholders who may be affected. Step 7. Reflect and review. After taking action, reflect on the decision and its outcomes. This can help identify any areas for improvement and inform future decision-making. 3. Ethical principles and frameworks. There are several ethical principles and frameworks that can help guide ethical decision-making. Some of the most common ones include: A. Utilitarianism. This principle focuses on maximizing overall happiness or benefit for the greatest number of people. B. Deontology. This approach emphasizes following moral rules and duties, regardless of the consequences. C. Virtue ethics. This framework focuses on developing positive character traits, such as honesty, compassion, and fairness, to guide decision-making. D. Rights-based ethics. This approach considers the rights of individuals and protects them from harm or infringement. E. Social justice. This principle promotes fairness and equality and considers the impact of decisions on marginalized or disadvantaged groups. It is essential to consider the various ethical principles and frameworks and apply them to the specific situation to determine the best course of action. 1. Ethical dilemmas in business. Ethical dilemmas are a common occurrence in the world of business. As an entrepreneur, it is crucial to make sound ethical decisions to uphold the values and integrity of your business. Ethical decision-making involves considering the potential consequences of your actions on various stakeholders, including employees, customers, suppliers, and the community. When faced with an ethical dilemma, it is important to approach the decision-making process systematically and ethically. Here are a few steps to guide you in making ethical decisions. 1. Identify the dilemma. The first step in making an ethical decision is to identify the dilemma at hand. This involves recognizing when a decision has ethical implications and understanding the potential impact of different options on stakeholders. 2. Gather information. Once you have identified the ethical dilemma, it is essential to gather all relevant information related to the situation. This may involve researching laws, regulations, and industry standards, as well as seeking advice from experts or consulting with colleagues or mentors. 3. Identify values and stakeholders. Consider the values and beliefs that guide your decision-making process and how they align with the principles of honesty, fairness, transparency, and responsibility. Identify the stakeholders involved in the decision and consider their interests and potential impact. 4. Evaluate options. Consider all possible courses of action available and evaluate each option based on its potential impact on stakeholders and adherence to ethical principles. Consider the short-term and long-term consequences and weigh the pros and cons of each option. 5. Make a decision. After evaluating all the options, it is time to make a decision. Choose the option that aligns with your values, minimizes harm to stakeholders, and maximizes the overall benefit. 6. Implement and monitor. Once a decision has been made, it is important to implement it effectively and monitor its impact. Continuously evaluate the outcome of your decision and make adjustments if necessary. 7. Reflect and learn. Ethical decision-making is an ongoing process. Take the time to reflect on your decisions, learn from them, and apply those learnings to future dilemmas. Seek feedback from stakeholders and reconsider your values and ethical framework if necessary. In the world of business, ethical decision-making is essential for building trust, maintaining reputation, and ensuring long-term success. By following these steps and consistently making ethical choices, you can establish a strong ethical foundation for your business and create a positive impact on society. 2. The role of social responsibility. Ethical decision-making is an essential aspect of social responsibility for entrepreneurs. In Module 7 of the e-learning course Entrepreneurship 101, Taking the First Steps, the topic of legal and ethical considerations is explored. This module emphasizes the importance of incorporating social responsibility into an entrepreneur's decision-making process. Entrepreneurs are faced with numerous decisions that can impact not only their own businesses but also the communities and the environment in which they operate. Ethical decision-making involves considering the potential consequences of these decisions and determining the course of action that aligns with the values of social responsibility. One key aspect of ethical decision-making is understanding the legal and regulatory framework in which entrepreneurs operate. It is important for entrepreneurs to be well informed about the laws and regulations that govern their industry, ensuring that their actions are in compliance with the established standards. This requires conducting thorough research and seeking legal advice when necessary. However, ethical decision-making goes beyond simply following the law. Entrepreneurs should also consider the broader societal implications of their decisions. This includes evaluating the impact on stakeholders such as employees, customers, suppliers, and the local community. For example, an entrepreneur may choose to implement fair labor practices, adopt sustainable business practices, or contribute to charitable causes that address societal needs. Transparency and open communication are also vital aspects of ethical decision-making. Entrepreneurs should strive to be transparent in their actions and communicate their decision-making process to stakeholders. This helps to build trust and reinforces the commitment to social responsibility. 3. Building an ethical business culture. One of the most important aspects of building an ethical business culture is ensuring that ethical decision-making is at the core of every action taken within the organization. Ethical decision-making refers to the process of making choices that are morally right and align with the values and principles of the business. In Module 7 of the e-learning course Entrepreneurship 101, Taking the First Steps IDENTR 101 TFS, titled Legal and Ethical Considerations, we dive deep into the concept of ethical decision-making and its importance in creating a sustainable and successful business. First and foremost, ethical decision-making involves considering the potential impact of our actions on various stakeholders, including employees, customers, suppliers, and the community. It requires us to put ourselves in their shoes and evaluate the consequences of our choices from their perspective. By prioritizing the well-being and interests of these stakeholders, we can ensure that our decisions are fair and equitable. Furthermore, ethical decision-making also requires us to adhere to a set of ethical principles and standards. These principles can vary depending on the nature of the business and its industry, but commonly include values such as honesty, integrity, transparency, and accountability. We can make sure that a strong moral compass and a commitment to doing the right thing guide our decisions by incorporating these principles into the process. To facilitate ethical decision-making within our organization, it is crucial to establish a clear framework and guidelines. This can be done through the development of a code of ethics or a set of ethical policies that outline the values and principles that should guide decision-making. These guidelines can help employees understand the expectations and responsibilities they have when making ethical choices. 4. Ethical leadership. In the world of entrepreneurship, ethical decision-making is crucial for sustainable success. Entrepreneurs are faced with a multitude of choices on a daily basis, from how to market their products or services to managing their employees. Making ethical decisions ensures that entrepreneurs operate their businesses with integrity and accountability, not only to themselves but also to their stakeholders, including customers, employees, and the community at large. Ethical decision-making involves a process of evaluating the potential impact of a decision on various stakeholders and determining the most socially responsible course of action. It requires entrepreneurs to consider not only the legal implications of their choices but also the moral and ethical dimensions. One important aspect of ethical decision-making is taking into account the values and principles that guide the entrepreneur's behavior. This requires entrepreneurs to have a clear understanding of their own ethical framework and the ethical standards of the industry in which they operate. By aligning their decisions with these values and principles, entrepreneurs can create a strong ethical culture within their organizations. Transparency is another key element of ethical decision-making. Entrepreneurs should strive to be open and honest in their dealings with stakeholders. This means providing accurate information about their products or services, being transparent about any potential conflicts of interest, and being accountable for their actions. 5. Handling ethical misconduct. Handling ethical misconduct is a critical aspect of running a successful and socially responsible business. Ethical decision-making involves evaluating and resolving ethical dilemmas in a way that aligns with ethical principles and values. When faced with ethical misconduct, entrepreneurs must take a proactive approach to address and rectify the issue. This ensures that the company maintains its integrity and upholds the trust of its stakeholders, including employees, customers, and investors. The process of ethical decision-making begins with recognizing and identifying the ethical dilemma at hand. It requires entrepreneurs to thoroughly assess the situation, taking into account all relevant facts, potential consequences, and the people involved. This step is crucial as it lays the foundation for making an informed and morally sound decision. Next, entrepreneurs should carefully evaluate the available options and consider the ethical implications of each. This involves weighing the potential benefits and harms associated with each course of action and considering the long-term consequences. Entrepreneurs should also consult with others to gain different perspectives and insights. This may include seeking advice from trusted mentors, consulting legal and ethical professionals, or seeking input from employees or other stakeholders. Once entrepreneurs have evaluated the available options and considered the perspectives of others, they must make a decision that is consistent with their ethical values and principles. This decision should prioritize the well-being of all stakeholders and aim to minimize harm while maximizing benefit. After making a decision, entrepreneurs must take appropriate action to address the ethical misconduct. This may involve implementing new policies and procedures, providing training and education, or taking disciplinary action against those responsible. It is essential for entrepreneurs to communicate their decisions and actions transparently to stakeholders, demonstrating their commitment to addressing the issue. Moreover, entrepreneurs should learn from the ethical misconduct incident and take steps to prevent similar situations from occurring in the future. This may involve revisiting and revising their ethical code of conduct, ensuring that employees receive proper training on ethical practices, and establishing mechanisms for reporting and addressing ethical concerns. Handling ethical misconduct requires a strong commitment to ethical behavior from the top of the organization down. Entrepreneurs must lead by example, demonstrating integrity and ethical decision-making in their own actions and decisions. By fostering a culture of ethics within the organization, entrepreneurs can create an environment where ethical misconduct is less likely to occur and where employees feel empowered to speak up about ethical concerns.